Health Matters with Karen Key.
Well, after the death of yet another friend in his 50s due to heart failure resulting from lack of condition and too much weight, Tim Plewman and a group of his friends formed a fellowship of old farts to ensure that the same doesn't happen to them. Well, his book, Fitness for Old Farts, is the outcome and proof that the program they followed really does work. Tim, good evening. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Karen. Hi, nice to speak to you.
Well, just really what we were talking to the doctor just before you about exactly is what you discovered when your friends were dropping like flies all around you.
Yeah. Well, you know, the point is that when you do have friends who die suddenly and that they're your same age, it kind of brings mortality to your face, you know, and opens your eyes a bit wider.
Yeah, I mean, at one point you were starting to, well, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, who's next, you know? It's sort of quite a scary situation.
Yeah, and I think what's really scary about it is when you, as I say in the book, when you're sitting around with friends that you've known for 30 years and more, and you don't see them aging because you see them so often, so that aging process is slow. And when these sudden deaths of friends happen and you kind of find yourself looking at your pals thinking, okay, so who's going to be next? The frightening point is you know that they're actually looking at you and thinking the same thing.
Well, I have to say, page 138 was my favorite page in the book.
Page 138.
Yes.
Which page is that?
Well, there's two pictures of you on page 138.
Yes, I've just turned to it.
The second, you look 20 years younger, Tim. I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal what happened to you.
Isn't it?
It is extraordinary.
Yeah.
It's absolutely extraordinary.
Yeah.
So how did this get started? I mean, because your friends initially weren't that keen on, I mean, I think it was Mick. I laughed. I mean, this book, it's quite a serious book if you're reading this book. It gives you all the eating plan and the exercise plan, but it's also hysterically funny. And your friend Mick was really not all that keen.
Yeah, no, I mean, you must know that Mick, as it describes, you know, Mick really feels that a man over the 50, the most exercise a man over the age of 50 needs is to blink. You know, that's his idea of that. And he'd never been to a gym before, and people are very frightened of things that they don't know. What's so great about this whole, what I say about the book is it's a very funny book about a very serious subject. And for me, the most dramatic thing was seeing myself. Seeing the development and what you can possibly do in 12 weeks, which is the process that this book lasts. Obviously, you train on from then once you know. But it's a rejuvenating process. You get younger, and not only in body, but in mind as well. It's an extraordinary process. You know, with weight training, resistance training, one of the things that I say to people, I'm doing a speech tomorrow morning at Finley's breakfast, but one of the things I keep saying to guys, older guys, is you must see there are things that begin to happen that you wouldn't expect. For example, your periphery vision gets better, which is an extraordinary thing, but it's a youthifying. So as you're getting more muscle on and getting rid of that fat layer that's hanging around there like a duvet, you're actually regressing the years physically and mentally.
Well, if anyone's sort of in doubt about whether they should start doing this plan, just get the book, turn to page 138, and just have a look at the two pictures of Tim. You will be starting the plan tomorrow. It's actually quite a phenomenal change. I actually can't get over it. But the book itself, what then prompted you to put it all down in a book?
Well, as you know, having read the book, that it started with the death of our friend Bill Flynn, and it really was a perfect storm for me because I had always been very fit over the years, doing various shows, and of course Defending the Caveman being the last one, the major big show that I'm doing, and I needed to go to gym and stay strong, and then I gave up smoking, which I had done for 30 years, which was incredibly hard for me to do. It took enormous amounts of willpower from my wife to get me to give up smoking. And but giving up smoking meant that I had a license to eat whatever I wanted to get rid of the smoking problem. And I was still going to gym at that stage, which was fine. But then I tore the meniscus in my left knee and had to go for an op and have the meniscus removed. So suddenly it was the perfect storm. I could eat whatever I liked to give up smoking, and I could do no exercise because of my knee. And I just ballooned. And as what happens with everybody, you'll know, if you stop something, it tends to go onto the back burner, and then I'll start next week. Well, no, it'll be next week, and then I'll finally get to it. I ballooned, and I put on 10 kilos in no time at all. And it was at that precise point that my friend Bill and Jonathan Rand both died, both aged 57. And so it was the perfect opportunity. You have to make a decision. I'm going to either do something about it, or I'm not. And either decision is fine. It's up to you. But if you decide to do something about it, then you've got to go the full hog. So I was in that position where suddenly I was out of shape. I needed to get back into shape. I had a bunch of pals who wanted to do the same thing and wanted my help to do it. And I thought, well, here's the perfect opportunity to help people, old farts like me, who don't have a clue and don't know what to do. And here's the opportunity to show them what can be done, how it's possible to get into shape. And hence the book came about.
But you can't call yourself one of those people anymore, Tim.
No, I think old fartness is a state of mind. I think being an old fart is actually like a badge of honor. It's a great thing getting to be an old fart. Suddenly you don't have to care about certain things.
Yeah, I know.
You don't have to worry about modern music. I mean, really, it bores me to tears. And it doesn't matter that I don't worry about it. So it's a bonus.
But the one thing, though, just as an advisory, I think, before people start going on any sort of exercise regime, they should consult their doctor first.
Well, that's what I say very strongly in the book. I say this book will give you, hopefully, the motivation and the knowledge to do something positive. And the book reaches, it goes over 5 different levels of fitness, so from very simple exercise to pretty complex stuff. But and it gives you all of the diets, the foods, the recipes. There's some wonderful recipes in the book on the low GI diet, which is the diet that I'm on, and it gives you a plan of how to select what weights to use for what machinery, and shows you how to do it. So all of that is in the book. But what it says in every one of the guides, to every guide that was in the book, or everybody who's ever talked to me about it, I say, go and check with your GP first, especially if you're over the age of 50. Go see your GP. Have a test. See what they think. And if you're capable of doing it, then do it.
And interestingly, I mean, if you're wanting to get started, with Mick, for example, you actually worked out a little plan for him to get him started. So you got him to do some really basic things, sort of walk to the end of the street, and eventually by the end of the week, try and walk around the block. And, very basic stuff, lifting a plastic 2-liter bottle of water up to shoulder level. So really basic things, just to kind of get him into the mindset that he was starting to do something.
Well, you've got to understand that doing exercise has to become a regular, everyday event. It can't be, I'll do it this week and then not do it again. So giving them some very basics. What I did for Mick was I said, look, just simply get up in the morning and drink a glass of water, then walk with determination to the corner of the street and back before coffee and breakfast, and go a little bit further every day with the aim of getting around the block by the end of the week. I mean, that's pretty simple. Perform at least 5 push-ups before lunch, aim to reach 10 by the end of the week. Perform at least 5 sit-ups before dinner, aim to reach 10 by the end of the week. Then walk to the corner and back. I like this, the morning one, after dinner at night. And before you're going to bed, stand with your back pressed against the wall, and using both hands, lift a 2-liter bottle of water up to shoulder level and down 15 times. Relax, do it again, and relax and do it again 3 times. So try that for a week. And what it did for Mick was realize, of course, Mick didn't do it at all. He managed 1 walk, I think, or 2 walks. He managed to drink 2 liters of Coke and do 1 sit-up or something,
And blinked in between,
which is just typical of a lawyer. But the point being, what I was trying to do was show him that this has to become something that becomes part of your routine. And I stress strongly to guys over the age of 50, if you can afford it, obviously, but it's vital. Go to a gym. Don't think I'll do this at home, because you won't. You'll do it on day 1. By day 4, you'll be going, I'll do it tomorrow. But if you go to a gym, when you walk into a gym, the only thing you can do there is either sit and drink coffee or exercise. And most people will laugh if you sit and drink coffee, so you'll exercise.
Where did all the ideas come from to put this together, the plans?
Well, 4 of the 5 plans are mine. I've been training quite rigorously and from the age of about 39, when I suddenly realized that I needed to do. I can remember so clearly getting off stage and thinking, I'm absolutely exhausted, and I've got to do this again tomorrow. And it was simply because A, I was smoking way too much, B, I was eating entirely the wrong foods, and C, the only exercise I was getting on stage. So slowly, over time, your fitness levels begin to drop and drop and drop, and then they start paying off with aches, with pains, with pulled muscles, etc. And I realized at that age I had to do something about it. And never having been to a gym, I went and I got myself some trainers, I got myself some professional advice, I went to the doctor, went in and started training properly. And then I really took it seriously. So over the years, and I've trained for all sorts of different shows. having to be lean, I had to put on weight for shows and then lose it. So I've got all those diets and all of the exercise programs that I've gathered over the years. I wrote down religiously because I train with a book. So I go and every exercise I do, I write down. I know there are some of us who do that. So over the years, I've gathered all of this information and these things. All of the programs, the 4 of the programs in the book, are programs that I physically have done, and then I put my friends onto at the various levels that they were. But the 5th program, the program that I did, was put together by a professional trainer, Cliff Mayerson, who's one of the top trainers in the country. And he put this program together specifically for me, saying that the other 4 said if they're going to do it, because I've been to gym previously, I had to have a program that was twice as hard as theirs, kind of idea. And having put them on it, there's nothing I could say to persuade them that perhaps I should do something less, which in the long run I'm very grateful for, but at the time was very painful. And Cliff's program really is a program that is extreme. I now, for example, at the age of 58, I will go and I'll do 40 sets of exercises like shoulders. I did shoulders today at gym, right? I did 40 sets of shoulder exercises plus 500 ab crunches plus 20 minutes of cardio, and I did it all in 45 minutes.
Right, so the rest of us are all hiding our heads in shame now, Tim. I mean, really, you're making us feel really bad. But honestly, if you're wanting to get started, Tim's book, Fitness for Old Farts, definitely worth a read. It'll have you laughing. And that could even in itself be exercise. Was it Nick's wife, I think you said, who broke the Guinness record for laughing?
Yes.
And you said eventually she had to stop because her stomach muscles seized up.
Yeah.
But I mean, we could maybe exercise our stomach muscles by laughing.
Well, laughter is it's A, the best medicine, but B, it is an incredible exercise.
Well, you read this book, you're going to definitely get some stomach muscle exercise. So, and it's a wonderful time for us to be chatting about the book, Tim, in Men's Health Awareness Month, because this is something we need men to be aware of.
Absolutely.
So, how's it going so far? The book doing well?
The book is doing very well at the moment. I had 2 places I've been in to see. I popped into, it's in Exclusive Books, and I went into the Exclusive Books in Cresta and looked for the book, couldn't find it, so I went to the counter and said, "Where's my book, Fitness for Old Farts? I don't see it on the shelves." And they said, "No, that's because it's sold out." And we reordered it, and we've sold out the reorder, so we've reordered a 3rd time. And the other one, I went into the Exclusive Books at Hyde Park, and it is number 9 on the bestsellers list. So
wow.
It's doing really well. I'm delighted because the more people, especially the more old farts that get this book, the better it is. I say in the book, read the book. You'll have a damn good laugh, and even if you're not going to do the exercise, it'll make a good coaster.
No, they need to use the book. Hopefully all those people that have bought the book are using it and are starting out on their journey of better health this month.
I certainly hope so.
But Tim, thank you so much for joining me on the show this evening, and good luck with the rest of the sales of the book.
My pleasure for joining in. Thanks very much for having me.
Only a pleasure. Thank you for your time.
Righto.
Good night to you. Tim Plewman's book, Fitness for Old Farts, it's published by Random House Strek, and it's available, well, pretty much, as Tim says, is being sold out at most of the stores. It's available, I would say, at most good bookstores.
Health Matters with Karen Key.